Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, welcome my peoples. Welcome back to the most mature podcast pertaining to relationship topics. I'm your host, relationship advisor and author, Tremel Lawrence, and I'm here with my partner, my ace, Card, the accountability coach. And first off, my peoples, I'm glad that you all can join us all. But before we discuss anything, I want to say happy birthday to my daughter. You know, today's her birthday. She just turned 19 years old. So let me just put that picture up on the screen. Happy birthday to my little one right out there. And also, I just want to state that a special shout out to my sisters, Miyaka, Natima, Tanisha, Cameron, Deneen, and Lady Mel for blessing us with that amazing Queen Takeover show, which was one of the best Queen Takeover shows out there, right? And Carl, man, we have to do some catching up, man, because right now they have like 9 Queen Takeovers talking about different relationship topics toward the sisters out there. We need to catch up and do some more King Takeovers, my man. But how you doing, though, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Enjoying this weather out here. Yeah, we definitely need to get some King Takeovers going. I know we got some topics sitting in the background, but we'll pull them up and get these men right, because like I said, we don't need to have the sisters get right.
Yeah, exactly, man. I hear you, man. And speaking of that King Takeover, you know, if you want to check it out, make sure you go to our website, or you can subscribe to our channel, the DBDS channel. Also, you can watch these replay episodes on dearbrothersdearsisters.com. That's the site dedicated to healthy and monogamous relationships. And when we do the King Takeover really soon, we are going to tackle some topics that a lot of brothers that talk about in the barbershops. We're going to talk about the impact of child support, how it has the effects on men. We're going to talk about things such as, you know, the term, what does the term being broke is, being misdirected towards financially stable men. You know, that's just a little preview. And today we're going to maybe dive into it just a little bit, but we're going to talk about the pros and cons of dating multiple people. You know, so this is a very hot topic that was requested. And I just want to get your thoughts on it, Carl. What do you think about this topic? Because a lot of people saying like some sisters saying brothers are not pursuing women like that anymore. Some brothers are saying there are not enough good women out there. So I think this topic will do justice. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really good topic. Because like you said, there are some people we have these conversations within our group, the DBDS group, and you get to see the different mindsets I think that exist out there. So this is gonna be good. It's gonna really, as we touch on some stuff, I'm sure we'll get some great questions and comments to come in. But I think one of the biggest things, I'll say this early on, people have to do what works best for them. Just be transparent. I'll leave it at that right now, and I'll save the rest of the fire and thunder for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, my brother. And listen, I just may want to add that out of love to my sisters out there, which may be related to this episode, the good brothers out there who are interested, I feel like should not be heckled by showing interest. Labels such as being too thirsty, or you want the brother to go through all these hoops, I feel like is very unattractive, because it does come across that you're conceited and you may sabotage a really great relationship with someone that may be the one for you. So I'm going to leave it like that, at that right there. So listen, Carl, you ready to bring our guest into the studio, man?
Let's do it.
That's what I'm talking about. So our first guest coming into the DBDS Live studio. Listen, we missed this sister. She actually has her own show. She is the host of the Uncommon Woman podcast, which they talk about a lot of issues. And I just want to welcome her back. Let's bring back my sister Jenny into the DBDS Live studio.
Hey guys, with oath and honor.
Oh no, the honor is ours. Just please tell us. We have some new viewers. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Well, my name is Jenny, and I am a podcast co-host from Uncommon Women podcast. We give people a platform to speak on their stories, what they've been through, where they're at in life now. I am single. I am 40 years old, and I live in near the Philadelphia area, and I am a mom of 2 young adult children.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you onto the show. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again.
And next, coming into the DBD's Live studio is a sister who not only has the experience, but she also has the credentials to share some gems with the DBDS family. I want to welcome her first time on the show, my great sister, Dr. Latarsha Holding. Welcome to DBDS Live.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Well, again, thank you guys for having me. I'm Dr. Latarsha Holden, here, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I am Georgia and National Mother of the Year for 2020. Inspirational speaker, inspire people around the world, simply because I went from being homeless in the streets of Atlanta for 4 years with 6 children, uneducated, underemployed, to run for city council in the 2017 election, from a GED to a doctorate, and became an 18-time published author. So I'm here to add some value nuggets to this sensitive topic on dating now in 2023. So thank you for having me.
You're very much welcome, my sister. Thank you for coming aboard. But this is going to be an amazing show. A lot of people's reaching out stating that DBDS, you must do a topic on the pros and cons to multiple dating, because in this day and age, we live in an instant gratification society. So let's go ahead and pivot to our first subtopic. So the first topic that we're going to touch on is, let's talk about the pros, exploring your options. Let's hit on this one first. So my thing is that before I met my wife, I have to say this to me, because I believe as a man, you shouldn't have to put all your eggs in one basket when you're looking for a wife. Or in other words, I was dating with a purpose and gathering information to see if that certain woman is compatible with me. And I feel like the reason why this process worked for me, because if you don't have enough data, you can't possibly make a good decision about anything in life, including personal relationships, which by far is the most important decision at the time I was going to make. So choosing a wife or soon-to-be wife was very critical, because I had to make sure whether that woman is going to be a liability or whether she's going to be an investment in the long haul. So first, I'd like to come to my sister, Jenny. Do you think there's anything wrong with having options open or dating multiple people?
Honestly, no. I think it's a good thing, like you said, to keep your options open. I feel like because once you're getting to know somebody, you're giving yourself access to them, and you can always kind of fill out the people who you talk to, if you're gonna continue to speak to them or not, because I feel like that's important. Like you said, Tramel, about gathering data, you have to ask questions, you have to be honest, you got to see where their mindset is, and you got to see if you guys are on the time or on the same type of if you're on the same type of level, mentally, where they're at, because sometimes, you can talk to someone for a week and then like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this guy. The second week comes along, he's a totally different person. So, as for me, I've always been dating for a purpose, so I get to know people, I go out with them, we talk to each other every day, just being consistent, but being honest through the process as well, even if they're talking to other people. But again, you just gotta gather that information. I think is very, very important when it comes to the in that dating, when you're trying to keep things we're trying to keep the options open.
Very well said. And those are the pros. I mean, I hear you, my sister. And may I add that each relationship dynamic, I would say, may be different. And also, in many cases, I think people can have fun by learning more about themselves and discover what they do and don't want in a relationship. But I feel like when you are fixated on one person, I feel like you may miss the chance of someone who may be emotionally, mentally, and spiritually connected to you, because while you're entertaining one person, the other one that can bypass you. It happens, right? Natasha, what are your thoughts of dating multiple people or keeping your options open?
Well, I think I'm not for it. So I'm against dating multiple people for me personally.
Okay.
I feel when you have taken the time to get to know who you are, you did the work, the personal growth, the personal development for yourself, you know exactly what you're looking for. To me, I don't have the energy to date 2-3 people at one time. And I feel like it don't take a long time. You can talk to somebody, maybe 3 phone calls, and no, this is not the person. That's when you took the work to know who you are. You don't have to string people along. At that point, I think it's a selfish tied to that. When you're stringing people along, whether it's sex, money, you're not genuinely interested. Just be real. If you know you know what you're looking for, and you can tell about a third conversation or the second date, you can tell whether or not you want to move forward with a particular person.
Facts. Okay. I mean, like I said it before we came on, I mean, you have to it's the time and attention that you have to take into account in order to figure out if this person is compatible with you. So very well said. Thank you. I appreciate your transparency. I'm coming to my brother Carl. Man, what are your thoughts on this particular topic? Do you think it's a pro to date? Does it have some sort of benefits in that format?
So I'm gonna do some breaking down here. Let's go to school here real quick. So if we look at the definition of dating, it means to go out with someone in whom one is romantically or sexually interested in. That's not mine. That's Webster's. Then if you look at a couple of different things, it says dating. There's 5 stages of dating. Attraction, reality, commitment, intimacy, and finally engagement. So how do you have that, if that's what it means, and this is looking at the resources. If you're doing that and you're dating multiple people, and I understand what we're talking about, and I would say I think dating sometimes is the wrong word to use. Maybe talking and getting to know people is a better term to use. I'm talking to and trying to get to know different people, because if you're dating, there's an exchange that's being given during that dating process. And again, I understand, data collecting, all the different things that are going on there. So I just, people have to do what works for them. But I go back to something that Dr. Holden said. When you do the work and you're healing to a point of dating, I always tell people you're never completely healed. You're just healed to a point of where you're able to get to actually be emotionally available to date. You learn how to vet better. And I think that's why so many people have to date so many people at one time or over the course of time, because their vetting system sucks. They don't know how to vet properly, which is unfortunate. And again, it's not it's a learning over time. But I think once you go through certain things and we grow and we mature and we understand things from a different perspective, we learn to vet better. And like I said, it may evolve over 1 or 2 phone calls, 3 phone calls, or a couple of text messages. You're like, oh, this is not the person for me, type of thing. And so it may work for some, it may not work for others. I tell people, decide what works for you. biggest thing I will say is be transparent, be upfront. You know, if you're seeing other people, you need to tell somebody that. If you're withholding that information, you're not giving the other person that's interested in you an opportunity or an option to whether continue to do that or not. So sometimes I'll say, and I'll leave it in the con section. But I mean, just be open and transparent. You know, that's the biggest thing I say. But you know, there may be for some people, it may be a pro. They just may be trying to figure out. Something I did see was for some people, it will allow them to maintain some type of balance emotionally because they're not so fully invested in one person that they don't see certain things, see red flags or different things like that because they're more balanced. So there may be, like I said, some positives to it, but you know, to each his own, you know, with that.
Okay, very well said. And to those who's watching us coming in, I see you, James. I see you, Kenya. Ruth, shout out to Ruth. My sister, the Queen, Tanisha. Shout out to one of the DBDS queens. Let us know in the comments. Do you think dating multiple people is a good thing, or dating multiple people is not that great? And Carl, I see what you're stating. You see, my whole thing is if you're going into this dating pool, not showing up 100%, then it is going to rub other people the wrong way. And as you stated, the honesty and transparency is the key. If you have to be upfront with your goals, not some Netflix and chill and see how it flows type of mindset, but really you have to tell the person what you're looking for and what your intentions are, so you both are on the same page. Because you can't say you're serious, you know, if you're treating your dates like a Tinder app by swiping left and right, because it means you're not showing up 100% to give that person your time and undivided attention. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up. Here's go another definition, but so much you unpack, Carl. But this came from Wikipedia, a portion of it, and then to break down some different phases. So the first phase, it says dating, right? The act of getting to know one another, a form of romantic courtship with the aim of assessing the other's suitability as a partner, and so forth. Hooking up, there's zero determining if you are compatible. You're just smashing and using each other for no strings attached sexual pleasure. Then the relationship aspect, relate, to be connected to some way, and the ship portion off to that relationship, a large vessel used for carrying people long distance. So I just want to piggyback and go back to you, Jen. I mean, after reading some of those terms and hearing Carl's term from the Webster Dictionary, do you think those terms, you think people are having a hard time dating multiple people or whatever the case because people can't define what dating is, and that's where it gets so confused?
Yeah, I think so. And dating in 2023, it's becoming harder to even date. So I know from personal experience, you know, sometimes, like I had mentioned earlier, I had to take myself off the market because it's so hard to like even connect with someone, or they just want to hook up, even though I can tell the person up front, like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for. And then, you know, they act like they want the same thing, but then they all like, then they start saying things to you that, you know, are appropriate. You're like, but you said you were kind of looking for the same thing. Now you kind of switched it off. So sometimes when things go haywire, you know, and dating, once again, or hooking up or whatever you want to do, you know, for me, I try to keep things on a mental level. I don't try to keep things, I want to connect with you, because everyone's always bringing sex into it. Yeah, sex is important, but sex isn't the only thing that's out there. I want to know where you are mentally, like we already had discussed. I want to know where your goals, your dreams, like what's your innermost secret? You know, that's how you get to know someone. But again, the dating pool right now is so scarce. You know, it just makes you want to step back from even being in the market. So you have to sometimes make yourself unavailable. And, you know, it's not like I have stopped, you know, trying to pursue that, but sometimes we take ourselves off the market. And it depends on the person. It depends on the situation and the type of person you're talking to, and where their mind is and where they really are in their life too. And the maturity, you know, if they're mature where they're at, you know, I want to build and grow with someone you know, if someone's thinking about still trying to do other things and only trying to shack up, we're not going to be compatible on that, because I'm trying to build and grow with you and love you and have a marriage, you know. But sometimes, you know,
Facts.
like this, that's why, like, the whole definition, it can be depending on the situation and who the person is.
Facts. Very well said. I mean, very well said, my sister. I believe a lot of people, you're right, they are not honest or transparent these days due to selfish reasons. And that's why I gravitate. That's why this process right here, which some people may not agree with, but that's what made me gravitate to my wife. Because my thing is, when you date multiple people, you can easily weed out those who do not have the same values, beliefs, or more goals as you do. And you don't have to start the process all over again, as long as you're vetting properly, as you guys stated, and take your time, in which a lot of people trip up because they want everything so quick in this instant gratification society. But Latarsha, do you think it's problematic when people have different ideas as to what dating truly is?
When Carl put up that definition, read that definition, then you put it up. That's exactly what we're doing. We're living in a hookup society. It's definitely not dating. If the definition that Carl read, and then what you put up, somebody I can't remember verbatim the words, physically attracted to someone. So you're telling 3 people I'm physically and sexually attracted to you if you're going by the terms dating. So it's no way you can give each person the time that's going to take to really get to know each person, going by the definition of what dating is. Now, hooking up, you can do the hookup with 2-3 people. Let's just be honest. But dating with a purpose is no way by those definitions that you're really doing that on a serious note. I think we just living in a time where people want to hook up, Netflix and chill, have 2 or 3 people they're having sex with, and along the way, what they're doing is stringing people along with the assumption that they're looking for a relationship. So I think that the terminology is off. We're not dating. Just say, I want to hook up with you. Give me the option. If you decide to friend with benefit, don't sugarcoat nothing, because what you'll be surprised is there's a lot of other people on some hookups and just friend with benefits. But give people the option to choose if they want to roll with you that way. Don't take the option away.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Very valid point. Coming to you, Carl, that what I pull up, I'll pull it up again for our audience to see. Shout out to my sister Latoya. Hello, my sister. Here goes this term right here again. Just for our people, the DBDS family, if you're watching. And please comment, my people. Do you think dating multiple people is a good thing or not a good thing? So Carl, I mean, do you think people who have different points of views, what they believe dating is making it more difficult these days to find that special person?
Yeah, I mean, I've asked that question. I've asked it on social media. I put it out there, and it'd be amazed at how many responses you get. And it's not 2 or 3 different responses. It may be 20 or 30 different responses of how people think dating is or what dating is. You know, and again, like I said, everybody has to do what they think is best for them. I just say, just be transparent, you know. But I'm looking at the things. If there's, again, I said there's an exchange, and even your definition, as you bring it up, you look at it, you're mutually attracted, you're interacting when you're dating, you're doing all these things. You're basically almost in a relationship when you're doing those types of things. You know, we talked about the other night. You know, my question is just rhetorical. Is the question is if and I say this because most men are paying for the dates and doing all this stuff. But if a woman if she's got a rotation, if she's got a bench, you know, she's dating multiple people, should she not be Dutch on every date? Why the men shouldn't be providing? And I mean, I know question. People may take that the wrong way, but if you can go out on a date 5 nights a week and you're getting dinner paid for 5 nights a week, why should I spend my money on you? And again, that's why I said you got to be upfront and honest on that. Some men may be willing to do that, but that's something we'll talk about more on the cons. But if the winner is the guy that spends the most money, I mean, there are guys that have dating 401ks. I mean, they can spend that kind of money, but should she not pay for herself until she gets to the process? I mean, how do you vet in that when you're dating multiple people? How are you vetting? Is it the guy that takes you to Capitol Grill versus the guy to take you to Applebee's? I mean, the guy that takes you to Applebee's might be the guy that's got more money, or he has more responsibility, better character than the guy that took you to Capitol Grill that knows, hey, if I take you to Capitol Grill, your panties are coming off. So I mean, this is just a thought process in that in the pros of dating multiple people. Should she not be providing half? If you're telling people, hey, I'm going out with other guys every week, why shouldn't she pay for her own self?
Man. Tad, drop a bomb. I like how you flipped it around, because I see on social media these other coaches, which sometimes I don't agree with their ideology, and they will state like, hey, get the man that can take you to Capitol Grill, or get that particular person. And my thing is that, yeah, that may be rich on the materialistic side of things, but his preference or his character may be low. He may not be rich in his character. Whereas the brother that is taking you to the museum or taking you to an open mic poetry session is rich when it comes to character, but you see what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, you have to be mindful of that. I like how you flip that around. That was very, very thoughtful. But so let's get the audience involved. I mean, thank you, DBDS family, for tuning in. We are talking about the pros and cons to dating multiple people, whether it's good or whether it's not so good. So we're going to go to the first comment here. Oh, you guys are in it tonight. First comment here.
I date multiple people because people can't stop ghosting nowadays. I invest in one person emotionally and then they disappear unexpectedly. I'm left heartbroken for several weeks or even months.
Okay. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man.
There is no problem with dating multiple people, in my opinion, but I had to learn the hard way that you can't seriously pursue or be affectionate in any way with more than one person. And when you date multiple people, at least one will take interest in you to move forward.
Okay. All right. If I don't get to your comments, people, just that we're on a time constraint.
Dating is collecting data stage. It's okay to date, talk to multiple people.
Okay. There you go.
Hi, friends. What's up, Latoya?
Hey, what's going on, Latoya? Okay.
Dating with intention means show me while dating what being your girlfriend or wife will look like. Flowers and gifts are not everything, but I'm not going to the rest of my life with no flowers or gifts. So I'm gonna respond to that real quick.
Go ahead. Okay.
So see, this is where the problem is. You're basing it off of flowers and gifts in your comment that you don't have to do that. Show me what being your girlfriend or wife is like. If I'm going to show you what my girlfriend or wife is like, then you can't be entertaining multiple people. So if you're dating with intention, you're exclusive with me, then I can show you what my girlfriend or wife, or what it would be like to be my girlfriend, what it would be like to be my wife, because we're exclusive. But if you're dating multiple people, that can't happen. And then to have flowers and gifts, why do you feel you deserve flowers and gifts if you're dating multiple people? Is it the best man wins? I mean, that's ridiculous. And we're gonna talk more, like I said, when we get to the cons. I got a different data sheet with that when we get there.
Can I add with Carl?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carl, both ways. If we're not exclusive, why should I make an investment? Because at that point, you're making an investment with time, resources. Until if a guy's seeing multiple women, why should I be the one that's doing the girlfriend or the fiance wife duties? No, that's a waste of time and investment for me. So yeah, we definitely have to be exclusive to get those benefits.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, pull up one more comment just because she is part of the DBDS family.
What's up, fam? She said, great conversation.
Oh, that's always Latoya. Thank you so much for tuning in. So yes, I mean, this is a hot topic. So listen, excellent comments. Keep them rolling in. We want to hear your thoughts on it. Listen, again, on both pros and cons. On this side, this was me before I met my wife. This was the roadmap that led me to her. But again, now we're going to talk on the flip side. But before doing, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Do not go anywhere. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight. right, welcome back to DBDS Live Studio, and I'm here with my DBDS sisters, Jenny, my sister Latarsha, and my DBDS brother, Carl, the accountability coach, and we've been talking about the pros, the cons of dating multiple people. And guess what? Now it's time to talk about the cons portion or the drawbacks. So, our next subtopic that we're going to touch on is, and this is a really critical one, complications with deeper connections. Yes. So, before we pivot and talk about this, I just want to hear more from my brother Carl. Go ahead, my man.
Yeah, I just want to go back to. I hear a lot of coaches run the gauntlet of dating is data collecting, and I agree with that.
Right.
Here's the problem: most people don't know how to collect data. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, brother. That was short and sweet. All right, man. Let's take a quick bomb on that one. So, listen, now we're going to talk about the drawback. Now, I get it. One of the drawbacks is now when you date more than one person, it's sort of not a good fit for everyone. And I can understand that because sometimes that does not automatically eliminate you getting closer to someone. It does happen. And the reality is, if you want to date exclusively, then ending the other relationship may be, I would say, emotionally difficult than you anticipated. And that, again, happens. Now, another drawback when you date multiple people is deep down, you may always compare them to the next person. Because let's face it, you will always find someone who is prettier. You will always find someone who has more money. You will always find someone who can cook better, or someone who has a better career or own a better business, or whatever the case may be. And that's why it's very, very important to nail down what you really want and don't use these multiple relationships as a way to stroke your ego, because that means you're not being 100% with that person, but also you're not being 100% with yourself if you're looking for a healthy, vibrant, monogamous relationship. So first, I'm coming to my sister Latarsha. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Well, one of the cons is, let's just be honest. If you're dating 2 or 3 people, 9 times out of 10, somebody is sexing one of those people. So, that just keep it real. I mean, you got some people that knows exactly what they want, and they're actually just doing conversation only, but that is rare. But if you're actually, because the definition that was put up earlier is some physical attraction there. So 9 times out of 10, you might sleep with 1 or 2 out of 3 people. I'm just pulling out the number 3 for an example. Right. And so, is it fair to the other 2? I think they're getting to know you when you start a physical relationship with one of the people that you're trying to date. So I think that's when the game starts. That's when the ghosting starts. Because then when people start to give little crumbs here and there just to keep you strong along, because they don't know whether or not the person they'll start having sex with, I don't know how this is gonna go. So I'm gonna just call this person every now and then to let them know I'm thinking about them, and that's when the game starts coming to play.
Man, I can see that happening. Yeah. No, I think that's a very, very valid point that you made, because you have to make sure that whatever your intentions are, that's what it's going to be. And I think that's where weeding out those people, that's where vetting people comes with. Because if you're dating multiple people and you don't know how to vet, you may be giving your 100% to somebody that's giving you 20%, or someone that's giving you 50% or 80%. And those are the ones that are, sleeping around with multiple people. So I completely get what you're saying. And that's why you have to have those transparent conversations out the gate. But Jenny, we did mention keeping your options open is a process that you don't have to start all over. But do you think it can hurt someone else if you're catching feelings for you and the next person may be catching feelings for you? Do you think that can complicate things when you do date multiple people?
It can. Like I said, it depends on the person. It can become difficult because someone's feeling, but it also, like Latara said, she mentioned, like people sleeping together. That can be messy. That whole scenario can be so messy. So from my personal experience and from, just my opinion, I think sex should just be completely off the table when you're dating multiple people. Because sometimes, again, it's messy. You can be sleeping with one person and you're having your friend with benefits, and then you're like, oh, you're trying to find somebody, you're trying to date for a purpose. But how can you date for a purpose when you're connecting yourself with multiple people? You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way, because then you have these other men or women, feeling you, and you're not being transparent with yourself, you're not being transparent with them, and it's just a whole lot going on, and you're just stuck in one place because you're like, I like this person, but I'm sleeping with this person, and I don't know how to cut off that person, but I don't want to cut off this person. So it complicates things. So again, like I said, I personally think just sex should just be off the table, and getting to know someone. If there's when people mention they have a 90-day rule, or they have a 30-day rule, feel out the person. Not only that, you can always weed out the people that you're around. You can always tell. I mean, if you come from a mature type of level, and when you're dating with a purpose, or however you are dating, hooking up, however, which either situation that you're trying to pursue, you should be able to weed out who's giving you more time and who's not. Like Latasha said, she said where, somebody is ghosting and there's less communication. You can tell if you're trying to give your all to this person and this person is not really answering you, but you're still trying to pursue this person. But why do that when you're probably over here sleeping with this person, and this person's already trying to get to know somebody else, but he kind of feeling you, won't let you go away. So it's just a whole mess. Once again, it's just messy. But at the same time, when you're in a mature level, I feel like, my opinion, you should know who you're able to give yourself access to, and on an emotional level and a mental level, because you can tell from those conversations when you start talking to each other.
Valid point, my sister. And that's why I tell people, listen, your time is valuable, but I still believe that you have to know what you want. Nobody can take you serious if you date multiple people. How can someone take you serious unless you have that clear attention as to what your goal is? One of my favorite movies, and I stated before, is Coming to America. Prince Akeem had attentions. He had goals. I am coming to America to find my queens in Queens, New York. You know what I'm saying? That was his intentions. And he went through the whole dating process. So, that's the analogy I want to use. And that's what some people use that. But if you don't have that clear attention, yes, it can get messy. Absolutely. Carl, what are your thoughts on this topic as one of the drawbacks and many others?
Yeah, I agree with everything Tasha said and Jenny said, and just what you came back in and piggyback. And I said it before, most people collecting data, they don't know how to collect data. That's the problem. Most people don't know how to, and the other problem is most people don't know how to date. So they don't know how to collect data, and they don't know how to date. So they don't know how to vet. So now they fall into this trap of what they think they're doing. And again, I'm going to speak from the male perspective side of things. But, when you see, and again, I'm just going to be real about it. When you have emotionally mature men who are on their purpose and about their purpose, they're not competing with nobody else. I'm just going to flat out say it. They're not going to compete. And I know there's this whole thing where alpha men this and alpha men don't compete, and that's a whole nother show we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about all the different types of men. But you have that, and then you have, men are hunters. No, the only thing men hunt, I just said, unless you're food, I hunt my food and provision for my family. So if you want me to eat you and put you on the grill, then that's what I'll do. But men don't hunt women. We don't. We pursue. We don't chase. So if you have multiple men, you're going to have them trying to chase you, pursue you, run after all that stuff. They're not the type of men that you want. You're not going to get because he's going to step back. He's not going to invest his mental, emotional, his financial, his physical, the protection side. He's not going to invest that stuff in there. And again, no, I'm not speaking for every man. I already know that. I'm speaking, but as a man that coaches hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men and have talked to thousands of other men, I'm speaking from that experience. They're not dealing with that, because think about this. If they're competing, what are you using as a scale? And this goes both ways. What are you using as a scale to determine the winner?
Oh, good question.
Yes.
What do you use as a scale to determine the winner? And then the other side of it, I just don't feel like, I mean, how invested can you really be with an individual if you're really feeling them? So, and let's use another example where somebody gets hurt too. So just say A and B are really feeling you, and they're like, oh, I want to be with you, this and this, but you want C. But you got two potentials, but you're holding on to C, and C ain't really doing, they ain't calling, they ain't texting, they ain't showing up on time and canceling dates and all this stuff, but you still want C because you're feeling C, but you're not feeling A and B. And so now somebody gets hurt in this situation because you just like, and you may be the one end up getting hurt because you decide to hang around for C and you get rid of A and B. So you lose the potentials there. And not being able to be emotionally invested into a relationship, runs the risk of you missing red flags on top of that. Because now you got to try to differentiate whose red flag was that, whose green flag was that, So again, I'm not knocking it if that's something you want to do, and that's fine. And I know people run around, and I hear it all the time. Oh, well, dating multiple people don't mean having sex. I know there's enough people to have a maintenance man on the side that they're sleeping with and have handy while they're saying they celibate and they abstaining the whole time. Meanwhile, they trying to get to know 3 different guys out here or 3 different women out here, but they got a side piece to that this on a regular basis. It's a game. Chucky Booker had the song "Games." Why you want to play games on me? He had that song
That's
was out
awesome,
there. Yeah, we used to sing that song all the time. I mean, damn. Now you think about it now, we're like, oh man, that's bad. Why are you trying to run game? But that's the reality of what's going on today with the con part of stuff, where you got to be careful. But again, if you got multiple people competing, what are you using as your victory check sheet, your check off sheet?
Okay.
Because what if they're all doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And it brings back to that point of, as you stated, not vetting properly, not being clear of your intentions, not knowing your cores and your moral values. Yeah, that can get really messy. It can get a little tricky, because when you do that, you're potentially going to hurt the other person. And if you hurt the other person, it may traumatize them and impact them on how they date moving forward with someone else, and it may hurt someone else. So it has like this domino effect that it can cause. And this is why I tell people you have to be upfront and real about things. But when you deal with multiple people, and don't get me wrong, I also believe that it's up to that individual to figure out the other person's agenda. Because not everybody's going to tell you honest that, hey, I'm a player, or I'm a dog, or I'm just a woman out for your wallet. No one is going to tell you that, because they're going to see it as a game in their mental. So it's up to you as the individual to be able to peep out those red flags. Know the ones that are showing up 80 or 20%. And I see where you're coming from, Carl. I see where you're coming from, Latarsha, Jenny. I see from the other side, because we don't want to feel like we're in the Hunger Games where you got to compete and winner takes all. It's not a good feeling.
May the odds forever be in your favor. That's what she said. Right.
Yeah, we don't want to feel that way. So I understand. But I also understand the flip side of things, where you have a goal and you have a purpose and you know what you want. You know what you're looking for. Listen, if I'm going to the store and I know I'm going to buy myself a pair of new Timbs, that's my goal. I'm going to the store to buy a pair of new Timbs. I'm not going to go around and look for something else. I know what I want, but I actually see what you're saying. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some comments right here because this is, again, a hot topic. In fact, we are already talking about doing the part 2 to the pros and cons of dating multiple people. All right. So the next topic I'm going to pull up here. All right, brother.
What does the man get?
Oh,
the man.
Okay. Good
That's
question.
a good question. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I know where he's coming from. That's my business partner too. But we have these conversations. But if she's dating multiple men, that goes back to my question earlier. Should she not be going Dutch instead of enjoying the gifts and lavishness of 2 or 3 suitors? How is that fair? Especially if these guys are seeing just her.
Okay. Next one.
Dating someone is completely different than marriage. So you can't expect what a person will do for their spouse to do that for someone they are dating. Correct.
Valid point, Rue.
That is correct.
Yes. Yes, love that, Rue. This one.
So DBS, what do you say if you're talking to multiple people on a dating app? Why would that be an issue? Dating is not sleeping around.
Okay. Want to keep it moving.
The men are destroying their foundation trying to date multiple women because the women want the men to spend up the bank.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, those are the ones you got to avoid.
Yep.
Sorry, man.
Yeah,
if they're not looking for, I see that. Go ahead, Jenny.
I mean, not all women are about, there's like women like me, like where let's go get coffee. Let's go to take a walk in the park, because sometimes I want to get to know you and who you are as a person and your character. You can take me, hey, let's go get some KFC. We're talking. It doesn't need to be anything lavish. There's not a lot of women like me out there, but we are out there.
That's true. We definitely are. And it becomes expensive. I agree with Jermaine. After a while, to date multiple people is expensive. So I don't see how the guys do it. I mean, the ones that are dating around. It's expensive out here to take different people. But yeah, I'm very simple. I mean, I don't believe in all that. You have to do all that stuff up front. Like just go, like Jenna was saying, park. The simple things in life. What happened to just a simple way?
Right.
Ice cream. Go and get a hot dog. When you really get into what dating is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not exist the way it used to. It's unfortunate. I looked at the statistic and they said the average man between the ages of 18 and 30, inflation adjusted, spends anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 dating.
Damn.
That's ridiculous. And I'm like, now people say, oh, average, that's not. But when you think about it, and you're spending a couple of $100 possibly a week times 52 times 13, 14 years, it adds up quick, so but yeah, the sensible stuff. And again, like you ladies are saying, the things like that, but I've seen a lot of women say, and again, I'm not knocking the women, I'm just reviewing, like we look at our posts and different things, and they feel like these guys need to be all in. They need to do Capital Grill on the first date, and then they need to be flown out to Belize on the second date, and then they need to go to Venus on the third date. And this is the expectation, or you're not a real man and you're not stepping up to the plate. And that's the hard part. And then you have dudes that'll go do that. You have these sympatharians that are going to go out here and do this stuff, and they're going to blow their bank account. Or, like I said, there are guys that have 401ks for dating. And
go ahead, Carl. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and they'll use that up until they get what they want, and then once they finish using you, they get the interest on that 401k. They just load it up for the next one. And I'm just speaking as a man. I mean, just telling you, this is.
Yeah, shout out to Ruth. She said not Venus. Shout out to Ruth. She's like, damn, not Venus, brother. I get what you're saying. Like I said, I mean, I'm going against the grain, and maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but you will see certain sisters that will shame men for not spending excessive money or a woman, and it will generalize and criticize them that that's not a real man. And again, you know, they don't know the ins and outs of every relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like it's so easy, and this is coming from my perspective. It's so easy to spend money on someone, but it takes a lot more effort to get to know someone. It's a huge difference. You want to make sure that person is rich in character.
Yes.
Character always comes first before money. That always comes first before popularity. Because if you put the finances and the popularity before the character, guess what? You're gonna be on the sinking ship. It's gonna be a false. It's gonna be a. Trust me. Let's go to the next comment.
In my opinion, if you're getting to know more than one person while keeping your options open, and you let all parties know this, I don't see a big problem. That can be time and money intensive, but really just depends on your on your style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we still have a little bit of time. Go ahead.
No, I would just agree with her. If you're being honest and telling people and they're saying, okay, let's roll, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I think it comes when you're not being honest and people are thinking they're getting to know you only.
Yeah.
As Bruce said, being upfront is key, but not many have enough integrity to do so.
That is so true.
That's the problem.
That is the problem. Yeah, I totally agree with the comment because it's true. You know, you're being upfront and the other person can just be kind of faking it, and then you're taking it in like, okay, you know, he's being real with me when he really isn't, you know. And that's where, you know, when they get caught up and you're like, oh, well, you don't need to be lying to me, you know, if this is what your intentions were, just be upfront, you know, have that integrity with yourself or that respect for yourself to be honest with the other person.
Yeah, because if you lie to me up front and then you turn around and I find out and you're like, well, we're past that and this, and I'm blocked, delete, and I'm cutting all the ties. I ain't got no problem with it. No, because you lied. You see what I'm saying? You were untruthful. So what else have you lied about, or what else will you lie about? So I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll take 2 more comments.
Yeah, Jermaine says so. Both parties need to make an investment. I agree.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah. And last comment.
After they spend the money, depression is going to kick in. That's the men.
Oh man, this is how we get down on DBDS. Thank you so much, man. Let's just drop a bomb for the DBDS family. You guys do not disappoint. So we're going to go ahead and take one more commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hit up our Jerry Springer moment. Rest in peace to Jerry Springer, by the way. But this is DBDS Live. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
We talk all the time, and you know, really, man, I just give much love and appreciation to you for founding DBDS and starting it, man, because it's not normal. There's so much banter back and forth, and just like you and I talked earlier, before we got on, who's going to raise the white flag first?
Hey, that's beautiful.
Hi, I'm so excited. This is my first Queen takeover. Usually I'm in with the fellas, but I'm excited today.
So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the DBDS family.
Mel, take it away.
Mel. Welcome back to the DBDS Live Studio. I'm your host, Mel. I'm here with my DBDS sisters, Jenny, my DBDS sister, Latarsha, and Carl, the accountability coach. And we've been talking about the pros and cons with dating multiple people, which has been a hot topic. I believe it's a much needed conversation. And listen, if you believe in our message of unifying men and women to establish a healthy monogamous relationship, or to embrace the family unit, and to take the hood out the hood for a healthy, nurturing environment, then make sure you subscribe to our channel, DBDS Live, which is on YouTube. And also, if you want to rewatch this episode again, you can always go to the website, dearbrothersdearsisters.com. That's the official site dedicated to healthy and monogamous relationships. Not only that, but you can also check us and listen to us at Radio Public, Spotify, Anchor, and guess what? We're on TV, the Roku channel, Pure Mormon Network. All right. So I just have to say this has been such a great show. And now I'm going to come to my sister Latarsha just to give the people who's watching your final thoughts for today's show.
Oh, well, I just want to let you know who you are. So when you meet someone, you won't waste time on people who are not meant to be where you're going. Get a chance to know who you are, what you want in life, and that way you'll be able to vet properly and don't waste any time.
Woo, love that. Okay. Next, I'm coming to my sister Jenny. What an amazing show. Tell the people your final thoughts.
My final thoughts are take your time when you're out there in the dating pool, because it could get a little messy. It could get difficult. Situations can arise, but just take your time. That's all I can say. Just take your time. Don't be thirsty. Don't be trying to jump into relationships because you're feeling somebody or trying to sleep with everyone. Take your time. Like Latarsha said, just know who you are, know what you want, and be kind to yourself and respect each other, and just be upfront as well.
Yeah.
Very well said. Good. And my brother Carl, man, another magnificent show as always, man. What's your final thoughts, my man?
I appreciate Jen and Latarsha for coming on today. Wonderful nuggets. Just made the show even more powerful tonight. The biggest thing for me is, like I said, be transparent. Well, number one, heal. I always talk about that. Really heal. Some people talk about they heal to this and this. Heal to the point that you're able to be emotionally available and present in your situation. And then begin to write down what you desire in a relationship from a mate. And then write down on another column next to that, how can you match what you're asking for? So when you go out in your vetting, you can have a better vetting system. There's a lot more to that. I think we might do something behind this veil on how to vet and dating. We might need to do a show on that. But
we do.
Those are those are key things right there. But just be transparent, be upfront. If what you just want is a smash and dash, that's it. Tell you want to smash and dash. If you're looking for a marriage long term, down the road, then tell that person that. If you're dating multiple people and seeing multiple, just tell the people. Just be upfront about it. Give those people an opportunity to do it, because you never know how you might miss out on your blessing by being deceptive. So you can't be deceptive, and you can't be deceptive and lie and think you're going to be blessed with the proper relationship.
Facts. Very well said, my brother. And listen, thank you all for tuning in. And I just want to thank this amazing panel for sharing their wisdom. Trust me, my people, it was a hot topic. We're going to do a part 2. But my final thoughts is, listen, dating does not take years or months to figure out someone or to know if you like someone. But what it does take is time and attention. Now, whether your style is dating one person or multiple individuals, your happiness and your relationship health are the most important factors. But the key is you must know what you want, so that way you're not giving your 100% to someone who is only giving you 20%, someone who's only giving you 50% or even 80%. Because listen, your time is valuable. And as long as you're honest, transparent, and direct as to what your goal is, then more than likely you will establish a healthy monogamous relationship. All right. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel And much love to the DBDS family.
Take it away, Mel.